This is Master Sergeant Larry Lincoln of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD can confirm the vehicle spotted in the North Pole region earlier today is now airborne. The vehicle, possibly a sleigh, is being pulled by 9 large animals. The lead animal has a red nose that glows so bright, our satellite system can see it very clearly. Based on available data, NORAD believes the glowing object is in fact the nose of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Check back with us for another Santa update in about an hour.
This is Major Jamie Robertson of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD satellite system has a firm lock on the glowing object it now believes to be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. NORAD is now certain the vehicle being pulled by the reindeer is in fact a sleigh registered to a Mr. Santa Claus. Santa is also known by many different names around the world, such as Father Christmas. He appears to be delivering toys and quickly traveling from one town to the next. Check back in an hour for another Santa Claus update.
NORAD has received spectacular images of Santa Claus flying over the Sydney Opera House in Australia, the site of this year's Olympics. Santa appears to be on schedule with his Christmas deliveries, and children in the Far East can expect him at their homes by midnight. For the NORAD Track Santa hotline, this is Major Perry Newis.
Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is Master Sergeant Larry Lincoln of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Santa Claus continues to visit homes all over the South Pacific and Australia. At times, the speed of Santa's sleigh makes it difficult to pinpoint his exact location, so NORAD tries to update his general progress. We can tell you he is making his way in a westerly direction while zigzagging north and south. This seems to be an efficient way for Santa to travel around the world so quickly while making so many stops. Children should expect Santa to visit their homes around midnight or later. Check back for another update in 1 hour.
This is Major Jamie Robertson of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Santa has made it to Japan. We managed to capture special digital images of Santa in the Mount Fuji area, which you can see on a special Santa Claus website at noradsanta.org. Reports are coming in from across Japan of possible Santa sightings and the sounds of sleigh bells in the sky. NORAD will keep tracking Santa Claus until he finishes his trip. If you want to check back in an hour, we'll have another update for you.
This is Petty Officer Andrew Corrales of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Numerous reports are coming into NORAD of airborne activity associated with Santa. He appears to be in South Korea at the current time. This Santa guy is pretty fast, and NORAD has calculated that he's right on schedule. Children, you should be in bed long before Santa gets close to where you live. Remember, we don't want to hold him up on his trip while he waits for you to fall asleep. Stay tuned here for further developments and updates in the next hour or so.
This is Major Perry Newis of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD continues to track Santa Claus and his 9 reindeer. We've been able to capture incredible digital images of his journey so far. We cannot tell you how we do this, but we've worked hard to try to show you Santa as he makes his way towards your house. If you see him getting close to your country, maybe it's time to go to bed. We'll keep track of him for you. This is Major Perry Newis of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD satellites show Santa making his way through the Himalayas. His flying skills are incredible, and his reindeer are extremely strong, stronger than even mountain winds. NORAD has no idea how Santa can fly so fast and so well in an old sleigh. And how come Santa doesn't get cold? You know he always smiles on his journey. He must really love kids. Santa appears to have plenty of toys and gifts in the back of his sleigh. Perhaps some of them are for you. We'll have another update for you in the next hour.
This is Petty Officer Andrew Corrales of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD continues to track Santa's progress as he makes his way westward. NORAD has followed Santa on his journey since he took off from the North Pole 8 hours ago. Since that time, he has flown to islands like Tonga. He's been to New Zealand, Australia, Japan, the Philippines, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Santa does not miss anyone who believes in him. So stay tuned for further developments and updates in the next hour.
This is Master Sergeant Larry Lincoln of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Santa has been spotted over the Arabian Gulf. He continues to move westward as he zigzags north and south. Santa and his reindeer do not seem to miss a beat. NORAD expects Santa to enter Eastern Europe and Scandinavia in the next hour or so. Children in Europe should get to bed real soon. Children in Eastern and Southern Africa should already be in bed by now. Check back with us in an hour for another Santa update.
This is Major Perry Newis of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Reports are starting to come in from Eastern Europe of chimney-top activities and snacks mysteriously being gobbled up. Isn't it funny how Santa always leaves crumbs? NORAD still has a visual lock on Rudolph's bright red nose. The glow from Rudolph's nose seems to light up Santa's sleigh. Rudolph looks like the youngest of the 9 reindeer. Do you know the names of the other reindeer? We'll have another update for you in the next hour.
Santa has arrived in the City of Lights, beautiful Paris, France. Children in France need to get in their beds immediately, as he can only deliver toys when children are asleep. We hope that Père Noël, as Santa is called in France, keeps on schedule and arrives at your house around midnight. For the NORAD Track Santa Claus Hotline, this is Major Jamie Robertson.
This is Petty Officer Andrew Corrales of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. What can I say? Wow. Father Christmas, as he's called in England and many other parts of the world, has been spotted near Stonehenge in England. We sure hope all the kids in England are tucked up in bed. That goes for all the kids in Europe and Africa too. Reports from Italy, France, Spain, and Germany all indicate that Santa has passed through many of the towns and villages already. Do you think the kids there are going to be excited when they see their presents in the morning? Check back in an hour or so for another Santa update.
NORAD has been tracking Santa Claus since we first detected activity at the North Pole earlier today. Since that time, our satellite system and ground-based sensors have tracked a number of small objects flying in close formation. We now know it is Santa and his reindeer. Keep checking back for special reports on Santa's progress. For the NORAD Track Santa Hotline, this is Major Perry Newis. NORAD has received some exciting space imagery showing Santa near the International Space Station. We at NORAD would like to wish Russian cosmonauts Yuri Gudzenko and Sergei Krikalev and American astronaut Bill Shepard a very Merry Christmas. We know the space station does not have a chimney, but we're sure Santa will find a way to deliver some presents to the crew. For the NORAD Track Santa Hotline, this is Major Perry Newis. Rio de Janeiro is reporting sightings of Santa Claus throughout the city. NORAD did pick up these amazing digital images of Santa passing by the statue of Jesus Christ, which overlooks the Brazilian city. Santa must be enjoying the warmer weather in Brazil compared to the cold of the North Pole. For the NORAD Track Santa Hotline, this is Major Perry Newis.
This is Petty Officer Andrew Corrales of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD's radar system, used to track aircraft entering North America, have now positively identified Santa and his 9 reindeer. East Coast radar is currently following Santa's progress, along with NORAD's heat-detecting satellites. NORAD has not received flight plan data for Santa, so we will scramble 2 Canadian fighter jets to make sure that it is really Santa coming into North America and not an unfriendly aircraft. We expect to see Santa very soon, so stand by for further updates as they become available.
This is Master Sergeant Larry Lincoln of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. 2 CF-18 Canadian NORAD region fighters have scrambled to go and meet Santa Claus. Santa knows that he will be visited soon because this is a normal job for NORAD if we're not sure what an aircraft is when it enters North America. Santa usually slows down and waves to our pilots. NORAD will confirm Santa's arrival as soon as possible. Check back for another Santa update in the next hour.
This is Major Perry Newis of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Our Canadian NORAD pilots have radioed in that they have made a visual confirmation of Santa. You should be able to see special images taken of Santa with the 2 aircraft. Santa gave our pilots a big smile and a thumbs-up sign. This means he's on his way. Children in Canada and the United States, you better get to bed soon. And that's an order. For the rest of you, tune in again next hour for a Santa update.
Santa has made it to the Big Apple, New York, New York. I wonder how many New York Yankee and Met souvenirs will be unwrapped tomorrow morning under the Christmas tree. He has a lot of work to do in this big city, so children, if you can see and hear this, and you live close to New York, you had better get to bed right away. For the NORAD Track Santa Hotline, this is Major Perry Newis.
This is Petty Officer Andrew Corrales of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Moments ago, a visual sighting was made of Santa near Cape Canaveral, Florida. Santa appears to be heading on to Texas and is expected to make his way into Mexico before he heads towards Kansas City, Chicago, and all stops in between. Our imagery analysts have reviewed some of the early photos and images we took of Santa, and they report he can still be seen smiling as he drives his sleigh through snowstorms and the dark night just so he can get to your house. Check back here for further updates in an hour or so.
This is Master Sergeant Larry Lincoln of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Santa has been reported in Toronto, Winnipeg, and is now in the Chicago area. As usual, he's right on schedule. His speed still amazes NORAD. No airplane in the world can fly as fast as Santa. How do you think he does it? We think he's so fast and so skilled at flying because he's been doing this for hundreds of years. Check back for another Santa Claus update in the next hour.
This is Major Jamie Robertson of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Santa Claus just flew over NORAD's Operations Center in Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado Springs. Nobody here got to see him with their own eyes because, kids, he was just too quick. However, we can still see him on our satellite systems and radars. We know he just visited Denver and is busy making stops throughout the western states and Canadian provinces. He seems to be in Los Angeles at the current time. Check back in an hour for more updates.
This is Petty Officer Andrew Corrales of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. NORAD recorded Santa flying through the Grand Canyon earlier. We thought that you might like to see this on the website. Must be nice to see the entire world all in one day, but boy, it must be really tiring. No wonder he needs all those snacks. Santa is in Alaska delivering his toys. Park rangers have reported unusual caribou herd activity. Fairbanks is reporting the sounds of jingle bells. Check back in another hour for Santa Update.
This is Major Perry Newis of the Joint U.S.-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command. Santa has almost completed his worldwide trip. He has made it to Hawaii. Do you think he'll take a rest on the beach there? I would, but not Santa. He has more work to do, but our work at NORAD for tracking Santa is now over. Santa should be home in the North Pole in a few hours for a very well-deserved rest. We'll not see Santa until the next millennium. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.